Point 1, The Worlds Apart, Two Lives Destined to Collide. Summary: the janitor's son, Arjun, and the billionaire's daughter, Kiara, live in two vastly different worlds. Their paths were never meant to cross, until one fateful day changes everything. Arjun, a humble and hardworking teenager, lives in a modest servant quarters behind a prestigious international school in Mumbai. His father, Raghav, works tirelessly as the school's janitor, earning just enough to make ends meet. Arjun is bright, curious, and responsible, often helping his father clean classrooms after hours. Despite the financial struggles, he dreams of becoming an engineer and escaping the cycle of poverty. In stark contrast, Kiara Mehra is the only daughter of billionaire industrialist Rajat Mehra. Raised in luxury, Kiara is used to limousines, private tutors, and high-end parties. However, she is not arrogant, just sheltered. Her world is filled with expectations, media attention, and people who care more about her father's money than about her as a person. Their two lives are miles apart, socially, financially, and emotionally. Arjun sees her from afar in school, always protected by bodyguards. Kiara barely knows he exists. But fate doesn't care about social classes. One incident would soon bridge the chasm between their lives, altering everything they once knew. Point 2, A Moment of Courage. The rescue that changes everything. Summary: when Kiara is kidnapped in broad daylight, Arjun witnesses it and takes a bold, life-changing decision, to chase the kidnappers and save her. It was supposed to be a normal school day. Kiara was leaving campus when masked men ambushed her and shoved her into a van. Security was distracted, chaos erupted, and in the midst of it all, Arjun, sweeping the hallway, saw everything. Without thinking of consequences, Arjun dropped the broom and sprinted after the van. Using his bicycle, he followed them through narrow alleys and busy streets. He managed to track the van to an abandoned warehouse on the city outskirts. While most would have run away or called for help, Arjun's instincts and courage kicked in. He quietly broke in, used a broken pipe to distract the kidnappers, and freed Kiara from her ropes. As they escaped through a back window and into the jungle-like terrain, Kiara realized this boy, whose name she didn't even know, had risked his life for her. They spent hours hiding, evading the kidnappers, and finally reached a police station. The story hit national headlines: Janitor's son saves billionaire heiress. But beyond the media frenzy, something deeper had changed, between Arjun and Kiara, and in the hearts of everyone who heard their story. Point 3, Unwelcome Spotlight. Fame brings opportunity and threat. Summary: Arjun becomes an overnight sensation, but with fame comes jealousy, pressure, and unexpected danger for both him and his family. The story went viral. News channels hailed Arjun as a hero. Social media flooded with hashtags. The Mehra family, especially Kiara's father, was overwhelmed with gratitude. Rajat Mehra publicly promised to sponsor Arjun's education and even offered Raghav a managerial job in one of his companies. But fame is a double-edged sword. Suddenly, Arjun's simple life was under the microscope. Journalists camped outside his home. Classmates who once ignored him now tried to befriend him. Some of his father's co-workers were envious. Rumors started that Arjun staged the kidnapping for attention. Meanwhile, the kidnappers who had managed to escape were still at large, and furious. Arjun's family began receiving threats. Arjun was offered admission into Kiara's elite school, but now he needed a bodyguard himself. The weight of sudden fame tested Arjun's humility and courage. Kiara, on the other hand, felt guilty. She didn't ask for this, but Arjun was suffering because of her. Their bond deepened, not from attraction, but from mutual respect and shared trauma. It was becoming clear, the rescue had been just the beginning. Life was about to test them both in ways they never imagined. Point 4, A Bond Grows. From respect to something deeper. Summary: as they spend more time together, Arjun and Kiara realize their connection goes beyond gratitude. But the world is not ready to accept their friendship, or more. After the incident, Rajat Mehra insisted on personally thanking Arjun and invited him and his father to their mansion. For the first time, Arjun stepped into a world of chandeliers, velvet carpets, and luxury. He was overwhelmed, but Kiara made sure he felt welcomed. They began spending more time together. At first, it was just conversations, about school, books, life, and dreams. Arjun's honesty and sharp mind impressed Kiara. He didn't treat her like a princess, he spoke to her like an equal. She, in turn, showed him kindness, respect, and genuine curiosity about his life. But not everyone was happy. Kiara's friends mocked her. "You're hanging out with a janitor's son," they sneered. Her father, despite his gratitude, grew concerned. "He saved your life, yes, but there are boundaries we must maintain," he warned. Kiara began to see the hypocrisy around her. Arjun had proven to be braver and more genuine than anyone in her elite circle. Slowly, admiration turned into affection. Arjun, too, started developing feelings, but kept them hidden. He knew where he came from. He didn't want to be another story of a boy who flew too close to the sun. Still, their bond grew stronger, silent, unspoken, but undeniable. Point 5. The turning point, choosing destiny over legacy. Summary: when tragedy strikes again, both Arjun and Kiara are forced to choose, follow the life expected of them or rewrite their destiny together. Months passed. Arjun's life was on an upward path. He secured a scholarship, and his father's job was stable. Kiara started volunteering at a foundation Arjun supported. They were no longer just savior and saved, they were partners in purpose. But then, disaster struck again. The kidnappers, seeking revenge, targeted Arjun this time. In a violent encounter, Arjun was hospitalized. The media reignited the story. This time, Rajat Mehra demanded that Kiara cut ties. "He's a risk now," he said. "We need to protect you." Kiara faced a choice: continue her privileged, protected life, or stand by Arjun, even if it meant facing rejection from her family and society. She chose Arjun. In a press conference, Kiara publicly acknowledged Arjun not just as her hero, but as someone she deeply respects and admires. "I wouldn't be alive if not for him," she said. "He taught me what real courage looks like." Rajat Mehra, moved by his daughter's conviction and reminded of Arjun's integrity, eventually relented. He offered Arjun a mentorship under his company's CEO, not as charity, but as recognition of his talent. The story ended not in fairy tale romance, but in mutual empowerment. Arjun rose on his own merit. Kiara redefined her legacy. Two lives, once divided by status, had changed each other, and the world, forever.